the water. Wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. See that band all dressed in white. God's gonna trouble the water. The leader looks like the Israelite. God's gonna trouble the water. Ooh, wade in the water. Oh, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God is gonna trouble. God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, see that band all dressed in red. God's gonna trouble the water. Ooh, it looks like the band that Moses led. God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, wade in the water. Oh, wade in the water, children. God is gonna trouble. Hello, hello. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Welcome to another history education. My name is Kimberly, Queen Kimberly. I am very grateful to be coming to you this Thursday. But before we get into that, we always want to give praises to the Most High God, who is Hashua HaMashiach, right? And we also like to give you our focus scripture. So yes, this is Thirsty Thursday, Thirst After Righteousness, okay? I am coming to you on behalf of Women Abiding in the Word of Yah, #movement, just for some history education. Very excited. Let's read our scripture first, and then I'll tell you why I'm excited, and then we'll go from there, okay? So our focus scripture for today is, and for every Thursday, is the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 6. And the word says, "Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled." Okay? I'm going to read it again. It says, "Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled." All right. So that is our focus scripture. Welcome to another history education, which is Thirsty Thursday, Thirst After Righteousness. We have a YouTube video that we post every Thursday, just another outlet on history. So I hope you're enjoying it. This is the last video of Harriet Tubman. Her birth name was Araminta Minty Ross, and they also call her Moses. I encourage you to definitely go back, watch the other ones. We've been on Harriet for about 3 months. We brought out a lot of information on Harriet. But this week, I just wanted to wrap it up on Harriet. And as we wrap it up, I want to show you a few things. So we're just going to touch base on a few definitions because we talked about the Underground Railroad last week. I don't want to wrap up Harriet, but we are. I enjoyed really learning about her life, you know, the history that we're not taught in, you know, these school districts and education classes, history classes, right? So please go back, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, Woman Abiding in the Word of Yah, #movement, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. Yeah, just another outlet of history, because we know that our history is not being taught, you know, in these classes to our children, except for 1 month. So this is another outlet to bring that out. Okay. So yes, we're wrapping up Harriet today. Such an amazing woman. I always get my finger messed up, but here she is. Such an amazing woman. I learned so much from studying and reading about Harriet. But as we wrap up on this last session, I'm just going to touch base on some definitions of the Underground Railroad. And then I'm going to show you a video. It's a little shaky, but watch it. It's a video that I recorded back in January of a location that is still standing here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Harriet lodged in, which was a safe house in Mount Washington. Yes, Mount Washington, still there. So we'll talk about that when we get there. I'm going to show you a nice video, some pictures. And then to wrap it up, I want to read you an article. Okay. So as we wrap up Harriet, just want to give you some quick definitions. We talked about conductors last week. And conductors on the Underground Railroad were leaders of the escape, right? So some of the conductors on the Underground Railroad were slaves. Some of the conductors on the Underground Railroad were not slaves. They were, they were white. So a lot of the conductors were all different races, and they all helped the slaves to freedom, right? So they were considered the leader of the escape plan, right? I like the terms because the Underground Railroad, if you say those words, it makes you think that it's a railroad, but they had a whole bunch of codes back then. So I encourage you to do the history, right? When they say passengers, they are talking about the escaping slaves, all of the slaves who were escaping during that time. So that was the definition of passengers on the Underground Railroad. When they stated tracks, they were talking about the routes, the routes they're taking, the different, places they will go. A lot of the slaves, the Black slaves would braid their hair, and it would be like the map of the direction they should go, the way they braided their hair. So much history, so much history. And it's really good to learn it and to also educate, right? Trains. So the trains were actually the farm wagons transporting the escaping slave. It could have been a free Black man. It could have been just a white man on a farm, but they had those wagons. You know how we see those things all the time in the movies, right? These things were real. These things were happening. So those farm wagons were transporting the escaping slave, right? I always stutter my words. I want to say this is depots, right? These were the safe house to rest and to sleep. So these were the safe houses, that the slaves were able to actually go to. And the people who had these safe houses, they were risking their lives, right? They were helping slaves. They were letting them rest. They were not letting them sleep. They were giving them clothing. They were letting them bathe, different things like that. So on their way to freedom. Okay. So that just touched base on some definitions from the Underground Railroad from last week. So I promise you all that I wanted to share this information to you. And yes, I found this out, I want to say around January of this year. And if you can read the caption, it says Harriet Tubman lodged at Thomas James Bigham's home in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And yes, this is still standing in Mount Washington. So I want to show you a clip, and I want to show you a video that I actually took, and we'll come back, and then I want to read you an article, and then we'll close. I hope you enjoy this. about to see is the only house that is still standing. I'm sorry guys, it's really emotional. And still standing at Harriet lodged at. I'm gonna just walk around. These are some of the woods that's around. But I'm pretty sure she came out up this route or around. I want to show you the house. So this is the house that Harriet lodged in here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Just take a breath and just kind of think. God is so good. I just want to tell y'all that, because when I pulled up, there was a couple up here. And they said, it's okay to look around. So here's some woods down here, which we don't know exactly which way she came or which route she took, but these are the woods that are out here. Just a little bit about the house. We'll just take this route. A little bit about the woods. Woods that are here, the house is here. Just really beautiful. The back part of the house a little bit. So this is truly, truly amazing. So I just wanted to share this little snippet with you guys. It's really, really beautiful. I'm gonna just walk around the rest of the house so you can kind of see, get a good feel of the forest. Oh God, it's so good. This is the house, y'all. Different things around the house. One of the doors, windows. All right, so I hope you enjoyed those pictures, and I also hope you enjoyed that video. Once again, really great reporter. I was able to, dig up some information, and I found out that Harriet lodged in multiple places in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania before she hit, Canada as she was going north. And yes, Thomas Bigham home is one of the locations that's still standing, right? So when I found the address and I went up there, I was just like, wow, I'm from this area, Pittsburgh, and I had no idea that this was here, right? So it's just a little, it's not even little, it's huge. When you find out things and you research things, and you're like, wow, this is amazing, but there's nothing up here about Harriet, right? Absolutely nothing. I drove through Mount Washington and I saw all these landmarks for Thomas Bigham. huge. It's just all over Mount Washington. And I'm like, wow, never seen this before, because I barely go to Mount Washington unless I'm looking at the view. But yes, huge landmark, his home. He did a lot for his community and everything, but I found it very awkward and off that nothing was up there about Harriet. There's a long story about that. But yes, I encourage you to do your research. I encourage you to study, and maybe even take your child up there one day just to walk around. Cause once you get up there, I just felt something. So look up Thomas Bigham, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You'll see the address. You'll see the location. It is a historic landmark. I hope you enjoy that video and that picture. Okay. And those pictures. So to wrap this all up, I'm going to read an article. I want to thank one of my brothers, King Mikael, for giving me this really nice Black Chronicles book. I don't know if you can see this or not, but it kind of goes back, and it goes back to a lot of articles that were written about slaves from like the 1700s, right? All the way up to like the 1900s. But I want to read you an article on Harriet, and I'm going to close on this wonderful woman of God who led so many slaves to freedom, who trusted in her instinct, who never lost a passenger, who knew that slavery was wrong. And she was just such an inspiration to us people as a whole. So I encourage you to do some research, teach your children, not just during Black History Month, teach them every month who they are, what happened in this so-called nation of America, the Atlantic slave trade, and more. Not just the Black kids, but the white kids too. Teach them. They need to know, because education is so important. Okay. I can talk to you on and on and on and on, but I'm not. Next week, I'll tell you what we're doing next week. But yes, history education will be coming forth every Thursday, pulling out different things about, history. I'll read this article to you. I'll let you know who our next topic will be for next week. And we'll go from there. So this article is on Harriet Tubman from 1864. Okay. It states, Black women aid Union troops in Beaufort, South Carolina, December 17th, 1864. The grapevine reports that Harriet Tubman is scouting for Union forces again. Last year, she guided Union raiding parties into South Carolina and convinced frightened slaves to join them. For such activities before the war, Southern governors put a $40,000 reward on her head. After one of these raids, commanding officer Colonel James Montgomery wrote, General Quincy Gilmore, I wish to commend your attention to Miss Harriet Tubman, a most remarkable woman and invaluable as a scout. More recently, Miss Tubman has been serving as a nurse. Last May at the Union Fort in Beaufort, South Carolina, acting assistant Surgeon Henry K. Durant formally thanked her for her kindness and attention to the sick and the suffering. Miss Tubman often uses root and herb remedies that are unfamiliar to Army doctors. Many, however, insist that her cures worked. It is said wounded men instantly cheer up when this spirited Black woman enters their sick tent. With her bandana wrapped around her head, she is a familiar figure in the Union camps. So valuable is her service that she has been given permission to enter all Union Army posts. She carries the following note from Major General David Hunter: Pass the barrier, Harriet Tubman, colored, wherever she wishes to go, and give her free passage at all times on all government transportations. I hope you enjoyed that beautiful article. back in December 20th, 1864. So I'm going to wrap it up there. I'm done. I'm done with Harriet. I can't wait to visit her museums. I did want to visit and show you all, but yes, we may come back to Harriet. I don't know, but we are moving forward. I hope you enjoyed today's history education. My next topic, we're going to be talking about Emmett Till. All right. Look up his name, research his name. We're going to be digging into some details, and we'll just go from there. All right. I hope you enjoy history education, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.